and welcome and joining me for Cookie's Tech and Talk Table. This is first edition, episode 2. Today we're going to go and talk about the wonderful world of Laserdiscs. We're going to go back in time to 1978 to where Laserdisc players was first created. We're going to talk about that vintage technology and the format it competed with, the VHS, the Betamax, and the VCD, maybe the VCD? Well, the Betamax and the VHS in competition with Laserdisc players. Why was it so popular in Japan, and why did it die in America? Stay tuned. So thank you for joining me again with Cookie's Tech and Talk Table, Edition 1, Episode 2. Today we're looking in an older format known as Laserdisc. Now, it wasn't just too long ago that when I used to collect a lot of my Japanese animation, the format of choice in the United States of America was VHS. VHS was so popular because you was able to record on it, you was able to give it to friends. It was an easier transferable format that everybody could use. It was user-friendly, but most of all, it was inexpensive. Laserdisc was a luxury brand that was overseen by RCA at one point, but then it was bought out by Pioneer. Laserdisc was the first optical disc to actually store information on not only a single side but double-sided. It was the format of choice in Japan, and it would later be popularized in Europe, but never ever really caught on in America due to its high price. The machines were expensive, the discs were expensive, but if you was truly an anime collector, it was the ultimate choice, an optical choice for the best format that you can get on the market. Truly uncompromised quality in analog and later on digital quality recording in its purposeful format. So before I go in a little bit more about the Pioneer Laserdisc that you see before me, this player right here is one of the last formatted players to be created. As a vintage collector and as a Holy Grail collector, one of the main things you want to do is you look for the best piece of technology for a closing out era. Now, what I say when closing out era is the last possible created edition of that format before it becomes obsolete. So Sony, Pioneer, Panasonic, RCA all have an excellent reputation in creating perfected pieces of equipment of a dying format right before the new age of technology takes over. So right before DVDs came into play in 2002, Pioneer, Sony, Panasonic, and Macintosh from Europe, yes, Macintosh from Europe, not the Apple that we know of, created something known as a Muse player. And what you see before you is known as an HDLD, the very last of Laserdisc players to be created before Pioneer ceased creating Laserdiscs, and along with Sony, along with Panasonic, and of course along with RCA. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history of the Laserdisc, what it is, how it came to be, what is it all about, and its competition. So Laserdisc was marketed originally as a home video format, and it was the first commercial optical disc storage medium. Now, initially it was a license and sold by MCA known as Disco Vision. This was happening in North America around the 1970s, primarily 1977, 1978. And although the format was capable of offering high-quality video and audio better than its consumer rivals like VHS and Betamax, which I'll do in a later video, never managed to get the widespread of popularity in North America, as I said before, due to its high value cost, not only of the players, but also the discs themselves. It became very popular in the 1990s in Japan, especially in Southeast Asia as Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. And it was a prevalent rental video medium in Hong Kong during those 90s, as well as in Japan, mainly because it was the DVD of its time. Its superior video and audio quality made it popular choice amongst all videophiles even to this day, and enthusiasts during the lifespan. The technologies and concepts was way before its time, and it became the foundation to what we would know as DVD and Blu-ray today. So, at some point, just like everyone else, I collected VHS tapes because that's all I had the money for. I was given a $5 allowance when I was in high school. I used to go down to Chinatown to a place called Penguin Village in New York City, and I would spend almost 30 minutes to an hour looking at bootlegged videotapes from which I wanted to spend my $5 on. It wouldn't be till later on that I would get a job, my first job, and I would start collecting Japanese animation on VCD, which is the poor man's version of a DVD. MPEG-1 technology. It's just about equivalent to the resolution of a VHS tape, but not quite there. But it was a optical format, so most DVD players can play not only VCD, backwards compatible, but also DVD. Laserdisc I didn't start collecting until later on, because as the classics became more and more harder to get on VHS or DVD due to licensing from Japan to America and from Japan to Europe, I decided, okay, I'm going to go and get the original formats that they were created on in Japan without any subtitles in their original format, uncompromised video, the way they should be viewed at, which was Laserdisc. So right now I'm going to take this remote and I'm just going to open up the tray for everyone to see, turn this sucker on, and I'm going to open it. So you can see this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to take one of these discs that I have to the left of me, and I'll go into the anime that's projecting in the background that I haven't raised the video camera up to see. But I'm going to start with this one right here. So recently there's been a reemergence of Cardcaptor Sakura. It was a popular shoujo anime in the 90s that competed with Sailor Moon, Cutie Honey, and Nurse Angel Rinka, Angelic Layer, so on and so forth. It ended in 1998 with the second movie known as The Sealed Card, or The Enchanted Card. But at the time of Cardcaptor Sakura was released on Laserdisc, the entire series as well as both movies. Laserdisc ceased production in 2001, but there were discs that continued to be produced in special cases until the end of 2003. Laserdisc, which looks like this right here, is a huge disc. I'm going to try to bring this around. There we go. It's silver on both sides. There you go. Ooh, you can see my reflection in it. Silver on both sides because it can hold up to an hour and 10 minutes of streaming media of uncompromised video recorded in analog. Now, I'm just going to go much more deeper with analog and digital. So digital became a format of the new age, which was the choice of conversion for DVDs because it allows you to get a higher bit rate and more storage on a disc. DVDs hold up to about 4 gigabytes of space, and because the video is compressed, they're able to fit more information. However, when you have uncompressed video without digital encoding, is something known as analog, which is what you see right here, which the biggest difference between analog and digital is that if you zoom into analog recording, you do not get any pixels. When you zoom into a digital conversion, you see pixels because it's compressed. That was one of the biggest magic things about Laserdisc, that you can zoom in, you can pause. This was the introduction of chapters. So you had chapters that you can skip to throughout the disc, which would become the precursor to how DVDs set up their menus. Laserdisc was the first to already do that. The greatest thing about Laserdisc was that it didn't always come in that size. They came in many sizes as well. So this is a Laserdisc right here. I'm going to bring this up to the camera. This is a music video of You're Under Arrest. You're Under Arrest is another popular Japanese anime during the 90s. And I believe it is also still currently airing. Just like Gundam and Macross and Potlabor, those are some staple series that will never die. You're Under Arrest is one of those series as well. Now, how did they market Laserdisc in Japan? So, because each disc can range about from $80 to $120 per disc right here, they had to bring people in by marketing it by adding Easter eggs that you would never get on a DVD, you would never get with Betamax or VHS. And that was this. The ability to have all these different booklets, stickers, interviews, and different notes. So I'm going to open up the book to this because I think this is really interesting right here. Here's an interview with one of the guys that helped create the Cardcaptor Sakura movie right there. God knows who he is right here, but I can't read Japanese, but I guess this is important because this book would never be re-released again, not only for the DVD re-release of this movie or for VHS. So the only way to see this special interview booklet is to buy the Laserdisc version. Laserdisc had Easter eggs that you would never find in VHS and later on in the re-releases of DVDs. So, as a collective items, Laserdisc became a new age novelty for holy grail collectors that want to collect original formatted videos when they originally came out in their true form because they came with something special, which is what leads the market into getting people to understand why certain mediums are worth more money than others. As a video file collector, this particular Laserdisc player is known as a Muse player, which plays HD LDs. And because I said before it was the last released Laserdisc player by Pioneer, it has special capabilities that other Laserdisc players doesn't. I would like to highlight that throughout the ages from the 80s up until Laserdisc ended in 2001, here are some notable players that have great notoriety in the Laserdisc world. Now, one of them is known as the Pioneer LDS9. You can follow the pictures with this video. The Pioneer LDS9 was known to have the best quality regular Laserdisc player. It used the same comb filter as the one that you see in this Laserdisc player right here, which is a Muse player. The only difference is that this plays HD LDs and the LDS9 does not. Same technology except this has the added feature. The CLDV850 was known as the best Laserdisc karaoke player, which allows you to play not only CDG, but also VCD and Laserdisc karaoke to make your home theater entertainment into the best karaoke experience. Another one is known as the DVL909. That is the best all-around Laserdisc player by Pioneer. That one played VCD, DVD, and LDs. Then you also have the last remaining Laserdisc players that exist. The Pioneer LDX9, which is the one that's right in front of you. The Pioneer LDX1, which is a black version of this that also is an HD LD Muse player. And the Pioneer LDX0. Outside of the Pioneer brand, I'd like to highlight the Muse HD LD player by Sony, known as the HIL L2EX, the Panasonic LX-HD20, and last but not least, I have to mention the people from Europe because Europe really wanted to compete with Pioneer on this forefront, known as the Macintosh MLD 7020. those are considered the best Laserdisc players on the market. And if you're getting into collecting original video outside of Japanese animation, might I suggest getting into the Star Wars franchise. Star Wars is known by video collectors to be the highest rated return on money that any collector can have in their Laserdisc collection. You collect that, and then you'll be sitting on a lot of money, because there's said to be certain scenes in Star Wars that are only seeable in the Laserdisc version that do not that were never carried over in VHS or in the DVD releases. So now I'm just going to go around this for a little while. I want you guys to see just some of the highlights of the Laserdiscs that I collected over time. Personally, I only like to collect Laserdisc box collections. I do have loose Laserdiscs, and I have a huge collection, but I decided only to display some stuff that's notable that people may know. So I'm going to go raise this camera up just a little bit. Okay, and we're going to start over here now. So I already showed you the Cardcaptor Sakura. This is Cardcaptor Sakura, the first movie right here. And the disc that I put in. Behind it is the second movie. This is the second movie right here, known as The Enchanted Card. Just for kicks, I decided to go put in the box collection here the display of Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Overfiend Hentai box set. Yes, it's sealed. I decided not to open this because I know one day it'll be worth something. Then you have Silent Mobius right there, the TV series. And then right behind it, you have Macross, the original Super Dimensional Fortress Macross 15th Anniversary Memorial Box Set. Now, I have the first box set, but I wanted everything Macross on Laserdisc, so I'll also have the first box set along with Macross 7, the TV series Dynamite 7, and Encore. Above it, you see the original Bubblegum Crisis right there with Pris right on the front of the red box. And it does says complete collection. I'm going to zoom in on that so y'all can see. This shit says complete. I'm going to zoom back out now. Okay. Then you have Vampire Hunter, the four episode OVA of Darkstalkers, of course, with Miss Morgan Ienzelin on the front. And what collection would be incomplete without having a copy of Neon Genesis Evangelion? There are 3 boxes to this set, but I put out box 1 of 3. Yes, perfect edition of Evangelion. That's the true collection before DVD, before Blu-ray. And then, of course, you know, you have to have Sailor Moon in your collection. There are 5 boxes to the Sailor Moon collection, and I just decided to put the final box, Laserdisc box set right there. I'm going to move this DVD thing out the way here. So, Sailor Moon was one of the series that was luckily to be fully completed on Laserdisc before it moved on to transition to DVD and then Blu-ray. All 5 box sets, the Dark Kingdom Saga R, S, Super S, and this is the box for Stars right here, because Stars is one of my favorites, so I had to go. Got to show that. See, it says Sailor Stars right there, because I'm a star. Well, anyway, getting back to the original topic on hand. So, Laserdisc's biggest competition at one point was this tape that I'm opening up below, known as Betamax, which is right here. Betamax was what eventually became of VHS. This only holds about an hour of video, maybe less. And it's a thicker tape than VHS, because VHS is a thinner tape, and the format is a lot lower. The quality is a lot lower. However, perfect uncompromised analog recording in comparison to Laserdisc was this, Betamax. But because VHS became more popular, VHS would beat the Betamax war because of its user-friendliness and ability to go and record TV shows. Now, one more last thing I wanted to talk about Laserdisc player. As Laserdisc continued to die out, They became more of a novelty later on, such as myself and many others out there who collect the older formats. It did have a short, brief time to compete with Betamax right here, as you see. But of course, Betamax lost out to Laserdisc, and then Laserdisc eventually lost out to VHS, just like Betamax did. This truly was a technology far beyond its time. And it's worth the investment if anybody is looking to get into this niche market. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for, niche market. So if you're looking for a Laserdisc player, I say go big or don't go at all. There are a lot of Laserdisc players out there that are good, but to truly get the best out of the experience, you want a Laserdisc player towards the end of its life. So when I say end of its life, I'm talking about the end of its technological era, right before DVD took over. So this, once again, this is the Pioneer HLD X9. This plays HD LD players. I decided to invest in this. This is a $3,000 Laserdisc player that I won on auction for $800. After heavy shipping and handling, because this baby weighs like a fucking ton, I paid like just about $1,500 for this to come all the way from Japan here. I also highly suggest the LDS9 or any brand from the Pioneer Elite Laserdisc series. Yes, Elite. Pioneer has an Elite technological series where they have TVs, audio amplifiers, Laserdisc players, DVD players, and that have their special words Elite, meaning it's the best of the best, the creme de la creme of their productivity line. So this concludes this specific episode of Cookie's Tech and Talk Table, Edition 1, Episode 2, going back in time to remembering the wonderful world of Laserdiscs. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please leave your comments below. If you have any questions regarding Laserdisc, please feel free to go send me a message through Facebook. I'll leave my link below, or through this video here on YouTube. I'm just going to go around just a little bit one more time so people can see what's going on here. My wonderful Laserdisc collection that's on display, or a piece of it, I should say. Here's the remote. Oh my God, I almost forgot. I didn't even show you guys the remote. Look at this remote. This is very vintage right here. This shit is heavy. I mean, you can feel the weight. It's taking like, what, 2 batteries? Let me open this up. Let's see what kind of batteries this is taking. Oh yeah, it's taking 2 AAA. Okay. Yep, there's automatic skip functions and all these damn buttons. Very 80s. Very vintage 80s right here. You could tell the design right here. I don't even know what these side buttons are used for. I've been trying to figure out what these are for. Lighting. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. If you hit this lighting button on the remote, it actually lights up in the dark. Wow. Now that's some tech right there. I don't know if I want to see a light up remote, but I guess back then it was very trendy. Okay, going in for another closer look one more time. We're going to open this up just so people can see what's going on here. Okay, you may open. It's processing. Yep, so one more time, this is the Laserdisc. Silver on both sides, look at that. One thing to note about Laserdisc players too is that they were really good at reading through scratches. The upper end Laserdisc players were good at reading through scratches. Also, one big thing to note, I almost forgot. Early edition Laserdisc players did not have the ability to change from side to side. So when one side of the movie finished, like a VHS tape, you would have to take it out and flip it over to the other side to go play it. With higher end Laserdisc players like this, there's a double-sided laser that automatically reads the second side and turns over automatically without you having to go and open up the tray and turn the disc over. That's just doing too much. When you have to get up after the movie ends and turn it over, and yeah, that's too much going on right there. So I'm glad that they implemented that technology with later edition Laserdisc players. The ability not to have to get up and turn your movie over. Isn't that great? Wow, whoever thought of that, give them a gold star on their forehead. Now, back to this one more time. Prolific anime series of the 90s. Good luck finding this stuff on DVDs, guys. And if you do, it's going to be just as expensive. Or maybe even more expensive. Bubblegum Crisis. Silent Mobius. Macross Super Dimensional Fortress. Darkstalkers, which is hiding behind the Evangelion box. Orotsuki Doji, the Legend of the Overfiend Hentai Box Collection. Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars right there. And Cardcaptor Sakura, first and second movies, sitting comfortably next to the Betamax of Macross. I guess it's episode 1 right there, I think. What does that say? Booby Trap. Well, not much of a trap for me. And the karaoke file of You're Under Arrest. Okay then, thank you. Leave a comment. Subscribe to this video. Say Cookie.